For today's story, we take a look at what is happening in Dharmasthala in Karnataka, a river temple town in Dakshin Kannada district that is now allegedly a site of mass burials. A whistleblower's shocking claim last month put the spotlight on what could be one of the most chilling crimes in India, if proven, of course. The whistleblower, a Dalit man, had worked as a sanitation worker at the Dharmasthala temple between 1995 and 2014. 11 years after escaping from there, on the 3rd of July 2025, he filed a complaint with the cops. The man claimed that he was forced to bury hundreds of bodies at Dharmasthala. Many of them, he said, were bodies of women and girls who were allegedly raped and murdered. The man said he was forced to commit this act by his superiors and threatened with death if he did not follow their instructions. The whistleblower hasn't named anyone from the temple administration in his complaint, but he did say that he is ready to take the cops and authorities to the alleged burial spots. As for the question, why now? Why is he speaking up now? The man said that is a whistleblower. He said that the guilt of all these years had taken a toll on him. And now it was too much for him to sort of bear and keep it a secret. As pressure grew, the Congress government in Karnataka had no option but to act. Last month, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddharamaiah created a special investigation team to probe this mass burial case. The SIT has been on ground zero for the last 4 days, overseeing the exhumation process and corroborating the shocking and horrifying claims made by the whistleblower. Nothing was found in the first couple of days, but yesterday came the major breakthrough. Hello and welcome, I'm Shubham Chauhan. Let's get started. In fact, before we move forward, we had done a video last month giving you a detailed background on Dharmasthala, its significance, the Dharmasthala temple, and its powerful administrator, that is Rajya Sabha MP Virendra Hegde. We had covered all these aspects for you in that video, and that video will help set the context in what is to follow in this video. You can watch that previous video by clicking on the I button here on YouTube or the link in the description below. Today, let's look at the updates that we have for you since then. So, partial human remains have been found by the special investigation team in Dharmasthala. The remains were found in a forested area near the Netravati river on 31st July, that is Thursday. As of now, there is no clarity on whose remains these are. The identity will be established and it will be clear only after a forensic examination. What we know so far is this. A forensic doctor at the spot says that it looks like these remains belong to a male. These were found about 4 feet deep at one of the alleged burial sites. Reports say these remains included at least 15 bones, some were broken, and no skull. India Today reported that the skeletal remains are in a highly decayed state, and additional material like rope, clothing, a printer, and laptop have been brought in as part of the evidence gathering efforts. A mini earth mover, water pump, and pipes were used to dig up this particular site. After digging on for some time on Thursday, these partial human remains, were discovered by the authorities. The body parts have been now sent for forensic examination. A dog squad has also been deployed to look for any other remains as is being suspected. Shivani Kawa of the News Minute, one of the few journalists and digital portals tracking this case closely, reported that exhumation process at this spot number 6, has been completed. Now, authorities had zeroed in on 13 spots in total after speaking and questioning the whistleblower. These sites, the whistleblower said, were where he had buried some of the bodies. 8 of the sites are said to be along the banks of the Netravati river, 3 locations beside the highway near the river, 2 are in an area called Kanyadi near the highway, and 1 site is on the road connecting Netravati to Ajukuri. The excavation began on the 29th of July at the first spot, which was along the banks of the Netravati river. Reports say the SIT team dug nearly 8 feet deep and 15 feet wide here in the whistleblower's presence. The next day, that is the 30th of July, excavations were conducted on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th spots. The News Minute reported that the excavation here was only around 3 to 4 feet deep, but no human remains were found at these sites. And we'll come to what exactly was found at one of these sites in just a couple of minutes. But let's focus on the 6th site where the major breakthrough has come. In fact, NDTV says that the whistleblower claimed he had buried 8 bodies at this burial site, that is the 6th site, site number 6. As for the next site, the 7th one, it's not clear whether the excavation would begin immediately, or will authorities first focus on what has been found here before proceeding. We'll have to wait and watch as to how things go on that front. Now remember, this is a sensitive case, and so is this process of exhumation or excavation. Reports say officials have put security measures in place and seal these sites so as to avoid further contamination. Now, also to note here is that these alleged burials have taken place years back. So that's a challenge that the SIT is faced with. Now let's come back to the excavation. Site number 6, like I said, gave the breakthrough yesterday. As for the first site, the Times of India reported that PAN and debit cards were found. In fact, this finding came to light from a lawyer of a woman called Sujata Bhatt. Now, Sujata Bhatt is an elderly woman. Her daughter Ananya had allegedly disappeared in Dharmasthala in the year 2003. Ananya was a first-year medical student at a college in Manipal at the time. She had gone to the town of Dharmasthala with her friends for a trip, but she never returned. Sujata alleged that local police had refused to file a missing complaint at the time. Additionally, she has alleged that she was subject to verbal abuse by Dharmasthala Temple's administrator Virendra Hegde, who allegedly told Sujata that her daughter, who she was looking for, had eloped. When Sujata persisted, she claimed she was abducted, tied up and beaten up by unknown men, only to wake up 3 months later badly injured in a hospital in Karnataka. After the whistleblower's police complaint, Ananya's mother also approached the police once again. She sought a search for the remains of her daughter, who she alleges has been buried somewhere in Dharmasthala. In fact, what's also raising eyebrows is this data point. 416 cases of missing persons and unnatural deaths were reported from this region since the 1980s. And many of these cases involve women. Remember, the version of the whistleblower starts from the 1990s. Now, as for the PAN and the debit cards found, there's some information that we can share at this point. The debit card belongs to a woman. That identity hasn't been ascertained yet, as the bank has not provided authorities with the details so far. But the PAN card that has been found belongs to a man called Suresh. Officials tracked down the family of this man called Suresh, who hails from Nilamangala Taluka in Bengaluru Rural District. It was found that Suresh died of jaundice in March 2025 at his native village. His last rites were conducted there too. And SIT officials say that Suresh was an alcoholic, and they suspect that he may have lost his PAN card when he visited Dharmasthala before his death. And lastly, let's look at the SIT probe and the team investigating this highly sensitive and shocking case itself. The Karnataka government ordered SIT officially took over this case files from the local police on the 25th of July. It began with verifying the whistleblower's version before going ahead with the excavation. Hindustan Times reported that officers have found inconsistencies in the complainant's statements to the media and those given to the police. The whistleblower was called for questioning a couple of days before the excavation began. The exhumation process, one can say, is like phase 2 of this investigation. The breakthrough that has been found at site number 6 has added a fresh momentum and dimension to this probe altogether. And there's also questions about the SIT itself. Now, it is headed by Pranab Mohanty, who's a senior IPS officer. Over the last few days, there are reports and speculations that Mr. Mohanty has been put on the list of central deputation by the Union Public Service Commission. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah said that Pranab Mohanty will be replaced as SIT chief if he opts for the central government duty. But his Home Minister G. Parmeshwara said that the government has not taken any decision so far. The senior IPS officer, meanwhile, has not commented on his central deputation. But be that as it may, all eyes will be on how this SIT goes ahead with the probe. Remember, the excavation is remaining on a few sites, and then things will or are expected to go on from there. But as things stand currently, clearly there's much more as far as this alleged mass burial in the temple town of Dharmasthala in Karnataka is concerned. We'll keep tracking the important updates for you on HW News English. That's all we have for this report though. Thanks for watching.